Hey guys, welcome back to All Things Outdoors 2018 gear loadout. I want to talk about a couple things. First, I'm going to talk about the gear that I wear and the clothes that I wear. And then second, we're going to get into the backpacking portion of it. So we'll talk about what I carry in my backpack. Alright, first item, head buff. You've seen them in probably a lot of other folks' videos. I really enjoy these. A lot of different uses with them. You can use them as a rag to wipe down your tarp. You can use them, as a scarf, or you can use them as a face mask, or on your head. So there are a lot of different ways that you can use this. So that's number one. Or the other thing I'll wear is a hat. So I'll bounce back and forth depending on how hot it is during the day or just what I feel like. Next thing, synthetic shirts. I'll keep one in my pack, as you'll see later on in the video, but this is the one I usually start out my hike with. This was actually given to me for Father's Day a couple years ago by my daughters, so I always start off every hike wearing my Spider-Man synthetic shirt. Next is synthetic underwear. No particular brand. I usually buy what's on sale because if you ask me, synthetic shorts and synthetic underwear, they're all the same. I know there's a lot of different brands out there, but there's probably only maybe 5 manufacturers that make all those different brands. Getting to the pants portion of it, depending on where I'm going, the season, what's going on, I'll have 2 different choices. I'll wear a synthetic, just regular cargo shorts, or I'll do the convertible pants. So, and here's the actual legs on them there. So, but these can do both, but at the same time, I actually enjoy wearing these. They're a Wrangler brand synthetic shorts. Just extremely comfortable. I like to go light. I like to go lightweight with my knife. Not so much an option that I look at, but it is something I wear. I keep it on me, on my belt. But just, it's Bear Grylls brand, but it's actually a Gerber knife. And I do like Gerber knives. I've always been a fan of theirs. So just something simple. It'll get the job done. Alright, let's talk shoes. Merrells. I got a pair of All Out Blaze. They're more like a trail runner. Very good grip. Very comfortable. But I will tell you that if I'm going on a lot of rocky downhills, my knees are going to hurt. Not a lot of cushion from the impact. So I looked at something else. I looked at maybe a little more of a heavy duty. I went with the Merrell Moabs, but I went with Gore-Tex. So that was the next shoe I purchased. Enjoyed them. They're a little warm. I used them in Colorado when I knew it was going to be warm air temperature wise, but there was still snow on the ground. And being Gore-Tex, the one thing you have to be aware of, if they get wet, they will stay wet for the rest of your trip. So so that kind of led me away from Gore-Tex to this year's running shoe of choice, the Hoka One One Stinsons. That is absolutely massive. It feels like I'm literally walking on a mattress. It is a zero drop shoe. So being said that, if it does not match your walking, running style, you're going to start feeling some pains and muscles that don't get worked out as much as if you were in a shoe that's not in a zero drop shoe. So hence is why I started running in them last year, and I really haven't felt a difference. So more likely it just matches my walking style or running style, probably matches up with the way zero drop shoes work. So I'm pretty happy with that and extremely happy with this shoe. So now let's bounce over to the backpack. 2018 pack loadout. Let's get started. The ULA Photon pack of choice. You can see on my previous video that I've done a full review, or initial review I should say, of the backpack itself, so be sure to check that out and you'll see some of the things that it has with it that are either optional to put on it, accessories you can add, take off, and so and so. So let's start on the outside of the pack. I did include the vessels for water and food. This is everything that would include in my backpack minus anything that's consumable. So this is going to be a base weight loadout. Water vessel of choice is going to be the Fiji water bottle. A lot of people use smart water bottles, and I did myself. I did change to Fiji at, I believe, 2 years ago. For one reason, it's square. It doesn't roll. I was on the Indian staircase trail, the loop, at the Red River Gorge, and actually my backpack brushed up against a narrow ridgeline wall. and it actually knocked my bottle out, and it rolled off the ledge, obviously putting me short my water bottle. So since that happened, I've switched to more of a square bottle. Same specs as the Smart Water Bottle. If you're using a Sawyer filter, it'll work the same on the top. The caps are completely interchangeable, and it's a lot of the same specs when it comes to the material. So let's start on the outside pouch here. What we have first, Mamajamba by War Bonnet. It's a 10 by 11 tarp, sil nylon. So I've used this, love it. The one accessory I do use with this, and this is all included inside here, are the Dutchware stingers. I absolutely love those things. So it makes it so much easier to set up your tarp, especially if you're in a hurry. I'm not really a knot guy. I just like to get it done. So that's the tarp of choice. So what I have here is my cook kit. So I want to break that down to a couple things that are inside it here. And I will say that there are some things that I could consider comfort items inside the cook kit. One of them being the Java Drip. I seen a gear review on this by Spiguyver Backpacking. I'll be sure to put a link to that. It really kind of turned me on to this item. I'm not a big instant coffee fan. It'll get the job done. It does what it's supposed to, but it's not something I enjoy. And if I want to be out in the woods, I want to be able to at least enjoy my morning cup of coffee. So the Java Drip. This here's a 800 milliliter Toaks pot. In the things I keep inside that pot, I keep a couple things nested. One is my BRS canister stove, a lighter, and I actually keep a small package of matches with a little cutoff of the striker, so as a secondary fire. And then I also keep my bee-free water filter. It keeps it a little more protected. Sawyers are fantastic filters, and they're a lot more durable than the bee-free, but for the water, the flow rate that I get with this bee-free, for the trips that I do, I wouldn't choose anything else. If I was doing a through hike, absolutely, I would 100% go with the Sawyer. But being as my trips consist of maybe up to 70 miles in about 3 days or so, maybe 4 days, then I'm going to stick to the Sawyer or the Katadyn bee-free, and I keep that nested in there just for security reasons. I do have a extra mug for my Java Drip, so that is an extra item that not necessarily you would have to have with you, so I could drop some weight there. And then again, if the pot is an 800 mil pot, which I will say that I'm considering downsizing my pot. It's a little more than what I need, especially for one person. All right, rain gear. Just a Frog Togs jacket. That's all I use. So I keep that on the outside. So everything I keep on the outside is pretty much things that I would need to get to. And then the suspension for my hammock I keep on the outside also. It's just Dutchware spiders with some Dyneema straps. And then my tent stakes I keep on the outside as well. The light of choice, that's actually, I keep that on the outside of my pack as well. Also, it tucks in there nicely. A lot of people use the headlamps, and I did use those for a while, but I don't like, if I am hiking with someone and we get into the nighttime hikes, I don't like looking at them with my light shining in their face. So what I decided to do is I found this really cool light at Batteries Plus. And it's pretty cool. It's got like a little hook on the outside, super bright. It takes 3 AAA batteries, and I've not had to change the batteries until this trip right here. So it's lasted over a year. So it's extremely efficient. And I'll put a link to this light as well. But what I'll do is, if it starts to get dark and I'm walking around and I still have my backpack on, I hook it on my sternum strap. So, and then it's good to go. So then my light's not shining at that face level, and it's bright enough it shines a complete path by design. All right, let's break down what's inside the pack here. My food bag is just a stuff sack. It's got a little spot that I can actually hook up for my my bear line. So nothing's fancy there. I don't worry about it being waterproof. It's just a stuff sack I've not ever used. So on the inside, I also have my dry bag, which when you see my backpack review for the ULA Photon video, you'll actually see a little bit of the breakdown of my Sea to Summit Nano. So fantastic little stuff sack. It's super light, and I actually love how this thing, you can crunch down what's inside, and then as soon as you pull the straps out, it's almost like vacuum sealing it. So you can really squish down everything that you have inside. It's a lot like the Sea to Summit, but I will say it's an off-brand of it. I've actually used it quite a few times, and it's extremely comfortable. The thing I like about the inflatable pillows is I can actually inflate it to the level that I want. I don't always want it super puffy behind me. I just need a little something underneath my head just to maybe raise it up a little bit within the hammock. But it's made by Trekology, and again, I'll put a link to it in the video. But I would actually say this is probably the exact same version as the Sea to Summits, but maybe a third of the price. Always in orange. All right, down to the hammock. You've probably seen this in my previous videos. Just a Dutchware netless hammock. I enjoy being without the bug net. I usually spray everything down with permethrin. It really helps keep the bugs down. I haven't had any issues whatsoever. And usually when I'm hiking, it's been fairly cold. And it's in the evenings, you don't have a lot of bug activity anyways. But it's a 1.0 Hexon. Super light material, super soft. The one thing I'll say is it's for up to 200 pounds. I'm 6 foot, 190 to 195 pounds, so I am stretching the limit. But I've had no issues whatsoever, and I'm starting my second year with this infancy. Next I have is my down. You also see on my channel the homemade Costco down quilts. So this is the under quilt here. With removing the stitching, I am able to get it down to about 45 degrees and be fairly comfortable. Not as durable as the Costco quilt. I will put that disclaimer in there. But so far, I've not had any issues. $15, you can't beat it. Top quilt. Same thing. Kohl's branded down quilt. So just sewn in foot box. Again, comfortable to 45 degrees. Break those down for you. Shorts to sleep in. Smart wool socks. I love these socks. I actually started with getting a pair for, believe it or not, like $7 on clearance at Dick's Sporting Goods, which was a huge find. So I bought the pair, fell in love with them on my first hike, and then since then I've bought a couple more pair. So I question the durability. I did have an ankle that grazed against a rock, and it did cut the sock. So my concern would be a little bit of the durability, but for comfort and how fast they dry and just wicking away the moisture, absolutely incredible. Any other clothes? I carry usually one pair of synthetic underwear and one synthetic shirt, and that's about all I carry extra other than what I'm wearing on me. So usually what I'll do is I'll wash my clothes when I get to camp and then let them dry, and then I swap them if it's more than 2 days. So again, that's pretty much standard for a 3-season hike. All right, let's break down a couple of the toiletry items. Now, one of the features in this pack that I was going to take out that I decided to leave in, it does come out with an organizer pocket on the inside. So I just went ahead and left that in there. It's kind of silly for me to take all this stuff in a stuff sack when I could just use the organizer pocket that's in here. So I'll break that down for you real quick. The toiletry bag. And what I keep in this, I have a chapstick tube that's actually filled with deodorant, toothpaste, floss, One Wipe Charlie's. If anybody's a member of the Dollar Shave Club, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Just butt wipes, basically, as my daughters like to call them. And then some cut up strips of moleskins, and I get the padded moleskins instead of a little thicker, so I enjoy those a little better. I haven't used moleskins only maybe one time. I was in a downpour for about 3 hours in the Laurel Highland. Just everything got soaked. I started to fill a few hot spots after walking in wet socks, so I decided to, I think that's pretty much the only time I used the moleskins. So that's the little toiletry bag. Bear line, just a little carabiner and some Zing-It. A compass as backup. For navigation, I usually use my phone and GPS, as a lot of folks out there. There's some great apps out there, whether it's REI's or Gut Hooks has a phenomenal one. It just which one works for you is the one that obviously you want to go with. So this is actual chapstick. So Burt's Beeswax, and then 100% DEET. And I get 100% DEET and barely use it. I don't like to use it unless I absolutely have to. The stuff's pretty harsh, but usually it's just a couple squirts on you and you're good for a significant amount of time. It's not something you have to keep reapplying. So, all right, guys, that is it. That's the gear for 2018. Hope it helps you out. So I will post the base weight for everything that you see here right there. If there's any questions that you have on any of the gear that you've seen, be sure to leave them in the comments section. Or if there's anything that you might want to see a review of going in the future, be sure to leave that in the comments section as well. But I hope this helps everybody. Like I said, this is just catered to myself and what I enjoy to hike. I could get it lighter, but a few of the things like the Toaks mug, I thoroughly enjoy having as a comfort item, and then just a few of the other comfort items that are out there. So, so like I said, this is 2018, my backpack breakdown of my base gear weight. So I'll see you guys next time, and I'll see you guys next time coming from the Superstition Wilderness.